Okay, last time for the last teachings, I think we discussed um, on the doctrine of paramountcy and the subsidiary alliance. These two political tools were used by British to annex the territories of India and without waging any wars. Actually, the British East India Company, they conquered many parts of the Indian kingdoms in 17th century and 18th century by waging wars. But they also used certain political tools like the subsidiary alliance uh, and the doctrine of paramountcy by Lord Hastings. And now the Lord Dalhousie, he also used a new tools, and then we call it doctrine of lapse. And these three doctrines, the doctrine of lapse, subsidiary alliance, and the doctrine of paramountcy, these three political tools were to annex the territories of India without waging any wars. No, British on those times, no, if they wanted to conquer any kingdoms in India, most of the time they engage in wars. But the wars were very expensive and they caused lots of lives. And they wanted to save their treasury. They wanted to save their state money, business. And so the best thing is to annex the territories of Indian kingdoms without waging any wars. And they made certain tools like the doctrine of paramountcy, which under that doctrine they called it that Indian kingdoms, they should accept the paramount power of the East India Company. Means the Indian kingdoms now they should agree that they should agree to this doctrine that the British East India Company were the supreme powers, and their kingdoms were under that subject of the British East India Company, which we call it the doctrine of paramountcy. And the subsidiary alliance, in that doctrine, in that policy, the British East India Company insisted Indian kingdoms to give away their military powers and stationed East India Company's army in their kingdom by paying the fees to the East India Company for the subsidiary armies, we call it the doctrine that subsidiary alliance. Now, with this doctrine, the doctrine of lapse, that was used by Lord Dalhousie. Lord Dalhousie, he used the doctrine of lapse. This doctrine, it means that point number one, without male heir. The lotus on the edge diamond air lauda. Karsana Dina Kalawarsana without male heir lavina. Madu Pevena Chiksha, Paju Puju Lejura, Modina Shintan, Dina Kalawarsana. If the king, if he died without male succession, without male heir, his kingdom shall lapse to the East India Company. Dirda, main principle Dirda. Without male heir, the king, he must die without the male heir. Picture, point number one. Male heir with a male Nazubdila, Polo, Puda, the other male, without male heir. The king died without male heir. Picture. Nivati Kalawarsana, his kingdom shall lapse. I did the lapse and did the doctrine of lapse na Kalawarsana, lapse na Kebu Koraki Gisi di inchi the Podu Rela or the Nadida. His kingdom shall lapse to East India Company. Did that? What's up? How's up? The doctrine of lapse and Kalawarsana, this doctrine presented by Lord Dalhousie. Lord Dalhousie, the doctrine return Kalawarsana. If any kingdom, if any king died without male heir, Quran she do samane di me vai nas kare. Pagi putu joy me vai na la da. Quran ki pugu mama puji me vai nas. His kingdom, the give the gisi di shall lapse to his company. Koi give kharcha dure in each the third dure da. That in to study some accounts chop dure did contest it was a very big game. The game chupu perda. That was chuju in marda. The Lord Allah was seeking when he presented this policy to the Indian kingdoms. The policy not many Indian kingdoms they fell to the East India Company. They lapsed to the East India Company. Mangush kharcha dore ranching ki inji wol chu dorda. Khaisna that time there were many kingdoms. Nangama gewu dige kharchi borsna. Phama ja chuma ja this samane gewu koran ki pu mushi dora mana. Ma pe ni do chama ja dro. Pa shi do. Pa shi do so gewu ki puju zor is some inchigate, Taradi won't be sure that. This Kisipana was at the time. Jansi, Manikanika, Jansi Ranitamba, and Jansi Ranima put a Hashin Jerry. The doctrine of lapse, my Javo Jumsen as a del turda, to the picture that shaking at the dam, Dashunani Gita de Igre. Then Marta. Jansi Ranima comes at all to doctrine of lapse Kalturda, and Jansi Ranin Pumindua. What Pumara? What is any inchi Mogi kingdom Jansi is such Shumure. There is a Madhya Pradesh Nayuda. Madhya Pradesh Nayuda. These such a thing was inchi was due to order. Gahan Hanza. Now, once inchi got due to something, Kari was due towards no doctrine of lapse. The loss of doctrine of lapse was due to order. Inchi due to the Moiti Matsi Wachi, Inchi Kaja Manaja Manja Kosura. Lusuda. How's that? The example chicked the Chansirani. The doctrine of lapse in the Gosuswa died without male heir. The king died without male heir. If the king died without male heir, his kingdom and the Gezi, his kingdom shall lapse to East India Company. That's all dirda. Kisi gewu di paju puju mewa shidro waina, and koi Gezi di inchi the third is. That was the policy, the doctrine dirda. That the effect began with my relation to the final wave of annexations occurred under Lord Dalhousie, who was the Governor General from 1848 to 1856. He devised a policy that came to be known as the Doctrine of Lapse. The doctrine declared that if an Indian ruler died without a male heir, his kingdom would lapse, that is, become part of the company territory. One kingdom after another was annexed simply by applying this doctrine. That is the doctrine of paramount subsidiary alliance story, and many wars. The India they waged many wars. If the king was powerful, if the kingdom was large, like the king of Mysore nashi chumbu yobaina, Marathas nashi chumbu yona, they can't apply this kind of policies. Because the Mysore king, the doctrine of lapse policy in Chimara, Tipu Sultan was very powerful. Now the only method was to wage war. The East India Company, they conquered a large part of Indian territories. And some territories, some kingdoms, they didn't have to wage any wars. They just issued the subsidiary alliance. A subsidiary alliance and the doctrine of paramount sitang, but now now there were only some small kingdoms left. That's such a they issued the doctrine of lapse. The final wave of annexation. Annexation and Annex main part did is Jordan. Also, Bena did that. Yeah, do so. Love the day. Love the day. Okay. I didn't do that. Also, today do so. Love the thing. Jabba. Tama the shoe hashish do. Shoe hash do. Because chashing mama digi. Mama chashi mama dirda. So mama dire. Di jablo la chashi kashi chik jarna. Then gazu khalore annexure. Then khalore annexure. How's that? Then the samane is in the company main part. Main part is in the company di cross to chashi mama di. And di gala yanja khonsu yu ma jab che and di jalo wong gyuro che korang ge chashi korang ngawo le di do na then khalore annex. How's that? Su sacha dire dojo na, jami sacha dire dojo bai na, pyo sacha dire bai na, di kharchara, di santam pura mewa chen, chen di kharchara annex. China annexed Tibet. How's Chashi ngoma digi, ngoma ge la, kora ge yad nimbe yad, kawang ching mungu cha dojo bai na, kora annex. Wang gyuwa da ne dhuwa da china, wang gyuwa da na, ma dire da wang gyuwa da na, peche peche tegri da da sikdi. Ine chazana annex na ma jawa dire kogong marda. Chashi ngoma chigi ngoma gila subu ngoma kisi pena dire rojo mana jami dirwa di jami che di China che di Tibet imbai na jami bhe sarwa di santam pur mea charo so di kharcha so di ganza kharcha so China cha so o dire ro ngoma khala orsna annex ngoma digi jablo da themba jabe ya chashi ya khap ngoma di ganza annex la ta dina tsiguma from dishe ho jadwa the final wave of the annexations annexation wang jure ta inchi gite mi inchi gite jaga wang jure tama final wave da tama dila and that time low Dalhousie that tama ma jab sare subsidiary alliance tang sare the adoption of paramount tang sare now it is the final wave of annexation wang jure ki tama de is that time the governor was the low Dalhousie that the governor general the sure low Dalhousie now he devised then I'll see he devised a concept he devised and color. He devised and quick to serve he devised any he devised the new policy. He devised a new policy called the doctrine of lapse. Lord Dalhousie and situ samaj serve. Yes, now it is the final annexation. Tama dilhadirda. Samay wang user da. Tama then kozo wang user gozu disana kharchire. Ani Lord Dalhousie he devised the doctrine of lapse. The doctrine of lapse can dishi japsa soa. The doctrine of lapse na karsan the king died without male heir. Tama change tamod kare the king died without male heir. Yes, if this situation happens, the kingdom shall lapse to the East India Company. The kingdom the East India Company wala the doctrine of lapse. Now, the effect of the doctrine of lapse. The doctrine of lapse ki effect how did it affect the expansion of the East India Company? East India Company ki such a degree how many Indian kings lost their territories? Territory that did some person the doctrine of lapse of the country it made a huge impact in Indian history. Okay, now we will count some kingdoms. The kingdom, one kingdom after another. That kingdom, the Gisi Mamu should go over because of the doctrine of lapse. Doctrine of lapse, Gisi Mamu should go over that. The Satara such the Maharashtra did such a Gevudi he lost his kingdom because of the doctrine of lapse. Satara doctrine of lapse ki any Mevacharda Satara che. Sambhalpur again in Maharashtra. Sambhalpur ki such a Gevudi he lost his kingdom because of the doctrine of lapse. Doctrine of lapse ki and Gevuni Mevachaswa. Udaipur the Rajasthan ki ta Yemen chadurda. Jaipur ki wala Udaipur chadurda. Historically, Udaipur was the most important center in the Rajasthan. The Rajput history now Udaipur pe kechmu chadurda. Akbar da ma mushush to the Udaipur the again the king he lost his territory because of the doctrine of lapse. Udaipur chikshod. Nagpur Maharashtra the culture Yangja doctrine of lapse ki and gives shore. And the final, the most important, the Jhansi. Also, Jhansi Rani like, again, the Jhansi Rani, she lost her kingdom because of the doctrine of lapse. Doctrine of lapse came get a chung chung mardo, Tarasamu said in Mardo. It was a very big policy package. Okay, finally in 1856, the company also took over Awadh. Awadh Ben Konsugi, and you on your go to